If you haven't watched the video, Emery, my VA, sent out the email, and in the email subject line, it says confidential. And so if you haven't had a chance to see that email, make sure that you find that one. And in there is the recording of that session. Okay. There's been some questions about Facebook ads and how to set those up and different kind of strategies on how much money to spend, et cetera, et cetera. So we're probably going to have to deal with that moving into the future. I'm going to have to probably put a little bit of effort into that, or I might just want to get someone who is really like a Facebook ad strategy or ad manager to be able to help you guys out. There's a couple guys that I like online. There's some, I forget what his name was, but if you go on YouTube, there's a guy, I think his name is like Javier or something like that, is a Mexican dude in LA. And he does a really good job with his kind of like teaching agents about Facebook advertising. And look, if you guys need some additional research and some additional help, I'm not like, I don't run Facebook ads, so I don't really get into the Facebook's ads manager as much as some people do. So I'd probably default to an expert anyways. There's thousands and thousands of hours of people talking about the Facebook advertising, meta advertising. So you can actually just access probably someone that's significantly smarter than me with more experience, what we're doing. In summary, I was just having a good conversation with my buddy John Jay, and John Jay built a email farming strategy. And that email farming strategy now produces great results. He's got 40,000 people in there. He emails them this basic automated thing. And over time, he gets results from that. Wonderful. That's like a email farming strategy, right? We've been talking a lot last year about the YouTube advertising farming strategy. So on the platform YouTube, put some ads in front of a very specific geographic territory, repetitively do that over and over and over again. Some of you guys have an email version. Some of you guys have a YouTube version. Some of you guys have a postcard version, right? We know that if you send a postcard to someone, let's say you send 2 postcards per month, usually you're spending in the range of 60 cents to $1 per household per postcard. This is where the problems kick in. But we all know that if you send 2 postcards a month with your face, your phone number, with a house, and you did that repetitively over a long window of time, eventually phone calls would ensue, right? That's a postcard farming strategy. And when I reflected deeply on what Patrick was doing, I realized really all that it was just a Facebook farming strategy. So he has the pin in the same location. He identified the appropriate location, the 12 to 15 mile radius. And then all he does is he just does Facebook ads to that same group over and over again. Now, the reason why I really appreciated the YouTube advertising strategy to the geographic farm location was because we can get a video view impression for 3 cents. And so instead of spending 60 cents to $1 per impression, even if it's 3 seconds, and they throw it in the trash repetitively over time, that works. But at 3 cents, repetitively over time, that's awesome. And again, if it's the same target audience over and over again, the Chinese water torture does eventually just kick in. And if we make it relatively easy for people to reach out to us or to engage with us when the time is right, that makes a lot of sense. So I do like this strategy. On Facebook, the demographic who is on Facebook is generally speaking a fantastic seller audience because it's more of the older generation that owns homes. And so when I was looking at Patrick O'Connor's results, and we saw in the range of 12 listings taken last year, 3 listings already active or something this year, running the advertising strategy, that he was in the range of 15 listings. And I think that's very exciting. So again, let's look at it from the big picture down, right? This is just another version of a target audience where we're doing repetitive marketing to try and generate sellers and buyer clients. Obviously, the content is really important, which one of the pieces of content is video is always going to outperform stagnant photos. So if you were someone who was doing a good job of doing video presentations of listings and you had a pretty good opening video moment, then your Facebook video ad is going to perform significantly higher than just a bunch of stagnant photos. If would I still do it if I didn't do any video? The answer is yes. Okay. So I'd still do it. Why not? Because again, it's so low cost and we're just going to play a repetition game and try and pick up down the road a bunch of opportunities, classic farming strategy. Okay. The other thing that is Patrick puts his phone number on the Facebook ad, and I think that's great. It's visible right away. Okay, so that makes it easy, right? We want more phone calls. The second most important thing is, I was breaking this down for one of my buddies earlier today, and I was saying, in the previous models, let's say we take the YLOPO Facebook ad strategy, or we take the listing to leads Facebook ad strategy, right? Classically, what we see from Facebook ad strategy is that bait and switch. They click a link and there's some version of back-end extraction of their phone number, name, and information and sent to you. Those are called lead ads. And none of us really have liked those, right? They've been very low on performance. And so we just need to separate our brains that this is not that. Because I don't know about you guys, but if I went into my old Sierra account right now, I'd probably have 1,000 of those, right? And I think most of you guys have hundreds or thousands of those. And those are more bait and switch types of leads. I don't want any of those. Okay, so we do need to logistically figure out for all of you guys, okay, how do we actually follow through with that final step? Technically, Patrick O'Connor, he had 16,000 or something people click the link on the Facebook ad to go look at the information. 16,000. If that was listings to leads, or if that was a YLOPO strategy, then Patrick would probably have 16,000 leads. I don't know about you guys. I don't want 16,000 of those. And so you really just need to see that as a distinction, right? 16,000 bait and switch, don't want them, versus 71 people who went all the way through with filling out a form and literally really raising their hand to move forward. So we just need to keep that in mind, that 71 people makes a heck of a lot more sense than 16,000. My top agent mastermind group is currently reading Dustin Fox's book. And one of the things that Dustin Fox says in his book, and he said something about this on the November mastermind session that I had him on for all of us. He did mention that he used these listings to leads Facebook ads as a database builder. And if that is a strategy that you want to discuss with me, great, let's do that. But really what I would like is I'd like you guys to just get the other strategy moving forward. Okay. I just have to work with you guys individually to get that figured out. Cool. All right. Next is a couple things on the AI. I watched a video. I'll share it with you guys. I'll see if I can get it into the link and send it via email. But one of the use cases I'm really interested in right now is how to use these projects, right? And so right now with ChatGPT has projects, Claude has projects, and then I was just tinkering with, I don't know if you guys seen this with gems with Gemini. So I'll just show you guys really quick. So this gem manager, which is down here, this kind of gem manager. I was like, what is this? This is really weird. But in essence, basically the gem is really is similar to a project. So for those of you that have Google Gemini Advanced, you've got the gem, give it a name, you give it instructions, you input files, and then you can ask questions about the files over there. I've been doing that a lot over here with Claude. on all my projects. This has been fun.
So you think it's trying to a little bit of Notebook LM on that?
It's basically the in-app version of Notebook LM.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is, right? So their ChatGPT has, I don't know where their projects are, but somewhere in there is projects. And then Claude has the projects, which I like a lot. And Gem is that version right there. Okay. So take a look at that. I'm going to send you guys a YouTube video where the guy was talking about how to use it and create use cases. I'm not exactly sold yet on exactly how to do that for all of us, but I want to stay ahead of the curve of it. And then I hopefully will get it figured out of, okay, here's the actual use case for it. So I'm going to be exploring that this week. And hopefully I can come up with a great use case for us to be able to actually do something, right? Because these things are cute and clever until we have a use case. It's just a waste of our time. Okay. But one of the other fun things that I did this week that I thought was a really good move is I was evaluating, and I showed this on my digital marketing mastermind on Wednesday, is I created a simple prompt in my Claude, and I took one of your guys' emails, and I've been sending these back to you guys. You guys send me an email. I get a PDF version of your email. I upload it into the AI, and I basically say, act as an email expert and content marketer and give me some suggestions of how to increase the open rates, the engagement, and the conversion of this email. I just ask the AI to do an evaluation, and then it gives me a huge suggestion list for you guys. It's fun for me to do that for you. And then just what I've been doing is just copy pasting that and sending that back to you guys. But what I would prefer is that you guys actually just start doing that for yourself, right? Here's the subject line, here's the content, here's my email. What suggestions would you make for me to increase conversion, make this a better experience, etc. Just start practicing that for yourselves so that we can, in a couple clicks, really improve the quality of the email marketing and newsletters that you guys are sending out.
Did you
Okay.
say you're doing that with chat?
I've done it with chat, Claude, I've done it with everybody.
Okay.
Right.
How one you like better than the other?
Doesn't really, I like them all. Right.
Thanks.
Yeah. Everybody keeps asking me the one, and I'm like, I got four. So I'm at $80 a month right now on my AI bill.
Don't go deep into projects on ChatGPT. That'll increase by $200 immediately. That
Yeah.
happened to me.
Is anyone
Yeah.
using that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 200's a little, that's pretty steep for me. I don't know about you guys, where you guys were at with that.
I'm not sure what the benefit's supposed to be. I haven't read any.
I was doing a presentation and I ran out of like deep learning on it. And so I had to upgrade. It's a month by month, so I don't have to do it next month, but upgrade to have the ability to continue the homework.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thanks.
I will give you guys, generally speaking, one interesting use case that I was working on. So let's play this out. And so this is where I'm headed, and I think this would be interesting. So I was helping one of my coaching clients, Terry Strom. He's got a unique segment in real estate, and he was like, "Can you help me create some blog post or some content?" I said, "Yeah, let's do this." So I created a project, and then what I did is I went and I got Terry's About Me page. And then I uploaded that into the project as a start of the knowledge base. So that's a good start. Then I took the About Me page and I went to the AI and I said, could you identify some ideal avatars for Terry and his business? And it gave me this really nice avatar. Right. So I copy pasted that and I put that into the project. So now I have an About Me and I have an ideal avatar. Right. I was like, okay, that's neat. And then now what can I do from there? So in the video that I'm going to send you guys, one of the things that he also says that you can add into the context of the project is you can also leverage the deep research, right? So ChatGPT has a deep research, Gemini has a deep research, Grok has a deep research. Okay. So if we did a deep research, let's take a subject matter, right? James and I are working on his seller seminar. And we can go to a deep research in ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude and say, hey, can you identify the 5 biggest financial mistakes that a home seller makes in the selling process? And then what the deep research would do is it'd go to Zillow and it'd go to HomeLight and go to 50 different websites, and it would accumulate what it would interpret are the biggest mistakes, and it would furnish this really extensive report. Okay, so that's cute and clever. So then I take that report and I can upload that now into the project. And so now in the project, I've got about me, I've got my avatar, and I have this really deep, thorough content piece about the 5 financial major mistakes that a home seller makes, right? Because now it's got these 3 components. It's got a little bit about you. It's got this, it's got that. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good starting point for something. So could I very easily create a
Blog post?
Yeah, blog post? Could I create a LinkedIn article? Could I create an email? Could I create whatever you want? Yeah. And is that output now going to be pretty darn good? Yeah. So I found that to be a nice little cheat code. Let's take this one step further. You go to the deep research and we say, what are the best practices for a real estate agent on Facebook? Right? Now, the deep research does this super extensive report on best practices for real estate agent on Facebook. So then I can take that, upload that into the project. Now I've got about me, got my avatar, I've got 5 fundamental reasons why homes don't sell, and then I've got a instruction manual on the best practices for Facebook. Okay, that's pretty good. You guys follow me? Now, create, what do you think would be the 2 or 3 best Facebook posts for my personal profile, right? To give me 2 or 3 examples of how I could share this information. So this is becoming interesting. It's like we're just stacking these information resources and then asking for output, right? Again, I'm not sure exactly if this is going to be the future path, but I think it's pretty cool. And so it's getting there. Let's talk about any individual use cases for you guys, and then let's see if we can just start testing and trying and seeing if we can come up with something interesting. Cool. All right, another quick update too. Today, I'm going to be working on creating my AI avatar and my AI voice. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. I'm going to work with that with my team member today. And what happened was I figured out what I wanted to do with this. And so individually, we should also talk about that. Is there a use case for you? And do we agree that this effort is something that would be worthy of your attention? Right? I think it's cute. I think it's clever. But unless we know what to do, I don't think it's useful. For me, I need to do a lot of commercials for all my content, right? So I need to create a perfect commercial for Sphere Rocket, perfect commercial for RedX, a perfect commercial for Sierra Interactive, a perfect commercial for my newsletter. I know I can create perfect scripting for a commercial. And so then I can use the AI avatar and the AI voice to actually pump out really interesting kind of commercials for my content. And then I can give those to my VA editor, and they can now integrate those across all of my content plays. That's cute and clever for me, and that's actually a big useful help, but I don't know yet exactly what it is for you. So let's talk about that individually, and I'm going to get it done, so I'll have the experience that I can support you guys through that process. Okay. So that's that. All right. The most common conversation I had this week in coaching was the topic of, How do we serve more customers with less mistakes, less stress, and without working 12-hour days and driving ourselves up the wall? Okay. This was probably the most common topic of the week. Then inside of that topic, there's a variety of different discussions. Number one, which is there a solution for a virtual assistant? Is there a solution for hiring sales team members? And is there a solution for an executive assistant? Right. And getting some additional help. So that was a very common discussion this week. And then the second part to that was really, okay, we have an SOP, we have a checklist, we don't use it. Probably one of the most common ones, right? Okay, so what do we need to do there? And then the last one is everything's in my head and I do it all in my head, and I wrote it one time and I've never really looked at it again, and I'm at my max capacity and it's driving me nuts and I'm falling apart. So where do I start in the SOPs? So this whole conversation was literally 60 to 70% of my conversation all week was any one of these major components. And so I just want to remind you guys that, we have to do, I think all of us have to do two things. Is number one, going back to, there was a quote that I had up on my wall. You guys have heard me say this before for some of my new clients. The quote was, to go from a small business entrepreneur, that's all of us right now, to a big business. The quote was, you have to translate who you are and what you know into a system. So that was the quote. I put it up on my wall, to translate who you are and what you know into a system. And then for us as real estate agents, it's who we are, what we know, and then how we do it. Like, how do I do this? And then we did into a system. So this is like the number one thing. When we go to hire either an executive assistant in-house or we hire a virtual assistant, where all of the failure occurs is because we really didn't have a good translation of who we are, what we know, and how we do it into a system. What Monica Reynolds used to say, who's the original assistant training expert, she would say, you're supposed to hire an executive assistant to help you create the system. And so one of two, it's okay. Is it the chicken before the egg or the egg before the chicken? And the answer is, I don't know. But no matter what, all of us have to get better at this. How do I translate who we are, what we know into a system? And then the worst part of this equation is from the book Systemology is, okay, Patrick, should I use a spreadsheet? Should I use Trello? Should I use Monday? And I don't know, right? The question is, what are you going to use? So right now, this week, if that's appropriate, like we do need to look at what system needs improvement for you right now. And there are what I refer to as micro systems, micro SOPs. And we need to do one of two things. We need to do a better job of getting the micro SOP, and or most of you have a system, you're not using it. Most of you have a system and or you're not empowering your team member to have ownership. And it's usually in this spread that this week I just been bopping back and forth with everybody. Okay, where do you need the most help? Okay. And I'm not like a true expert in this thing. To me, it's just, if you're not consistently trying to improve this process for yourself and for your business, we are never going to get anywhere. You guys follow me? And I don't know about where you guys stand, but for me, it's where I start to get into that, like, I'm so pissed off and so frustrated. I'm so annoyed. I'm so overwhelmed. And that usually is my driving motivation for me to do the most annoying thing in the planet, which is to write an SOP. Do you guys follow me? So frustrated. I'm so annoyed by this. I hate this more than anything on the planet. That's my motivation to do it. Okay. So this week I was working with one of my Dijon, who's the coaching business manager. And I was like, look, mistakes were made. And I was like, shit. And it's not mistakes on him part. It's actually a mistake for me. What I was asking him to do was not crystal clear. And so the only thing to do is for me to go, how do I create better clarity? And what I did with him is I said, all right, when you start your business day, here's the first thing that you're going to do. Now, I'd like you guys to have one of these, by the way. When you start your business day, what is the absolute best, most intelligent thing to do to put yourself in the best position to win the day? And if you say check your email and check your text, you've already lost the plot, right? So if you start to think about it objectively, so what with him, it was, hey, the first thing I need you to do is probably open up the email, and then here's what I need you to look for. So what did I need him to look? I needed him to look for any of your guys's reschedules. And there's two things. There's either an email from you saying, hey, Patrick, I'm not going to be able to make that session. And or there's a second thing. There's the Calendly appointment alert in my inbox. So I figured out what is go here, look for this thing. When you get those things, then go do the next thing. So I actually broke it down into like the clearest, dumbest action step ever. Now, that one thing gives me, if he corrects that one thing, I get 2 hours of high productivity in my week back. How valuable is that 2 hours to me? In the buy back your time book, you take your total income divided by 2,000, and now you have your hourly rate. That's how much money that one exercise does for me. Whoa, that's pretty good. Okay. Now to follow all the way through with that, then the second thing that he has to do is I have a lot of complexity in my schedule. There's the Calendly, there's Illume, there's Google, and there's Zoom, and it's all kind of a mess. So then I have to walk him through, go here, go there. Then what's the next thing? Okay. Then the next thing is look for things like this, and then go here. Then what's the next thing? Do this. So with your staff, with your virtual assistants, with your own SOPs, like it takes quite a bit of effort for me to actually get to the place where I can actually think it through, see it, write it down, and organize it. And I don't know how long, I probably have had a virtual assistant for a year managing this, and I didn't think about it. I was trying to come up with a good SOP. Then I got my second one. And then the first 30 days wasn't really great because I didn't give them instructions. And I finally hit my breaking point, and then I finally created it. What's your version of that? You guys follow me? Okay. And if I can help you guys to organize into those things, that would be be fun. It's painful. I hate it. I don't like it. None of you guys like it. It's not, our brains don't think this way. Take your ADHD pills. Ask me to take my Ritalin. You take yours, and then let's work on it. Fair enough? Okay. But the goal this year is we have to be able to do a better job of reducing your stress, reducing your client's stress, managing the agents on the other sides of the transactions, and managing our partners. There's 4 players involved. And if we can level up the quality of the education and the experience of everybody involved, we win. So how are we going to do that? And then what's the next action step? I don't think I'm hearing enough from you guys as a group at the individual level on how you're doing this, or showing me what you've done, or how do we get staff to take higher levels of responsibility to own those things? So let's make sure that you guys and me, we're working on that this week so that we can, if you guys can get 2 to 3 hours back, that's amazing. Okay. So anyways, that's that. I just want to bring that topic up, right? Because it's very consistent. Questions, concerns, comments, emotional overloads, freakouts? Nope. Good. Next. For my coaching clients, this last week was still a little bit messy in the email landscape from me. So I was just looking, there's like a post tag event where I'm doing sales conversion lab. It should be SCL, sales conversion lab, right? Where I broke down what to do with just listed and just sold. And I've created that new YouTube channel and I'm loading that sucker up. And so you guys may or may not have received an email. Okay. But earlier in the week, I sent you guys all an email that had the 3 different 1-hour training sessions. If you haven't seen that, it was a little confusing. Maybe it was last week. I forget. What I want you guys to do is sign up for the email newsletter for each one of those. One of the links was broken. Fair enough. Okay. She hyperlinked the Zoom link, which not great because if you click it, it just takes you there. What I would actually want you guys to do is to copy the URL and then take that URL and put it into your calendar and then just put the link. Okay. If you don't want to participate in the training sessions, it's totally fine, but sign up for the newsletter because then I'll send you the recording. What we've made the executive decision to do is we're not going to send you guys a warning email or a what we're going to cover email. We're just going to send you guys the outcome of the session with the notes, the recording, and any subsequent links. That should reduce the level of email from me and reduce the workload on our end. I think that'd be better. Okay. So then you guys can just enjoy whatever the output is and not have to get too many messaging from me. Fair enough. Okay. So let's just keep me posted on where you're at with that, how I can support you. The just listed, just sold content that I did was awesome. The expired content that I did recently with Josh Finnegan was awesome. The stuff that I did on Wednesday on guides and AI and email marketing was really good. I did that yesterday or Wednesday. I'm hoping that stuff gets really good. I want all of you guys, not this next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, I'm going to have Coach Aaron on the Digital Marketing Team Builders, DMBT. That's, I think, the official name, Digital Marketing Team Builders. We're going to have Aaron talk about social media and social pilot, and not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. You might want to attend that one live. Okay.
Hey,
Cool.
Patrick, so those are permanently on Wednesday at
30.
Thank you.
Permanently 30. Yeah, Tiffany is asking, where do we see all the previous master sheet stuff? I'm going to be reorging a lot of that stuff in the next 30 days or so, because I now officially, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I have an official new Digital Marketing Team Builders channel. And these were all the, like, since the beginning of the year, all the digital marketing training sessions. And that's on a very specific channel. And then I'm going to have the sales conversion lab stuff. And that's going to come onto this channel. So I'm going to host that all here. So this is the expired with Josh. There was the Avi Becker. And then here's the neighborhood prospecting. Here's the for rent by owner. So I'm going to start to organize all of the kind of scripts, prospecting, sales strategy. It'll all come to this channel. Right. And then we'll just move on the Coach Patrick Ferry channel. That one will just be topics of just like the framework. How do we scale and grow your past client center of influence? How do we scale and grow your geographic farm? How do we scale and grow your digital marketing assets? Right. And then how do we create a new client per every listing that we take? And then that's it. Buyer conversion, seller conversion, right? And so I'm going to try and keep it very clean, keep it organized. I'm going to try and get all my previous sessions a little bit more dialed in. I want to create a better title version of those, description for those, and then I'll have a better organized playbook for you guys. But there's only so much time in the day. Okay. Anything else? I don't really have anything else on my agenda, anything hot or sexy. No? Good. Cool. All right. I'm going to shut it down and then get back to work. I have 400,000 things I need to do, and I'm sure you guys do too. I will catch up with you guys a little bit later.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Thanks, Patrick.